Right now, 8 billion people are alive on this planet. 74,000 years ago, there were maybe 10,000. Total. Everywhere. The entire human species. That's not a guess. That's what's written inside your DNA right now, in this exact moment as you watch this. And the event that almost erased us isn't in most history books. Most people have never even heard of it. This is the story of the closest call our species has ever had. And the strange part isn't that it almost happened. The strange part is what happened next. Let's go back. 74,000 years ago, on the island of Sumatra, a volcano erupted. Not an eruption like you're picturing. This was the largest volcanic event in the last 2 million years. It released roughly 2,800 cubic kilometers of material. Mount St. Helens in 1980, the one that flattened forests across an entire state, released about 1. Toba was nearly 3,000 times bigger.
The crater left behind is now a lake. It's 100 kilometers long. You could lose entire countries inside it. But the explosion wasn't the disaster. What came after was. When something this big erupts, it doesn't just destroy what's nearby. It throws ash and sulfur high enough into the atmosphere that it wraps around the entire planet. That sulfur turns into a haze that blocks sunlight. Global temperatures drop. Not by 1 degree, by 3 to 5 degrees Celsius, for years. Now picture the humans living through this. Homo sapiens had only existed for about 200,000 years. Small groups, no agriculture, no stored food. Every group lived day to day, completely dependent on whatever the land gave them. And the land stopped giving. Plants died back. Animals starved or vanished.
The forests that had fed people for thousands of years suddenly couldn't feed anyone. Here's where it gets strange. In the 1990s, geneticists looked at human DNA and found something that didn't add up. Compare the DNA of 2 chimpanzees from the same forest, and you'll often find more genetic variation between them than between 2 humans from opposite sides of the planet. For a species of 8 billion, spread across every climate on Earth, that's not normal. Low genetic diversity means one thing. At some point, the population crashed. Most of the variation that used to exist simply didn't survive to be passed on. Geneticists ran the numbers. The estimate? Somewhere between 1,000 and 10,000 breeding individuals. Not in one place. Total. The entire species. Line that up with the timing of Toba, and you get the theory that made headlines for years. The eruption nearly wiped us out. Every person who has ever lived since, every language, every culture, every name you've ever heard, comes from that handful of survivors. 10,000 people. Smaller than some high schools. That's how close we came to never happening at all. For years, that was the story. Settled, done. Then archaeologists found something that broke it completely. At sites in southern Africa and India, scientists dug through layers of ash from this exact eruption. The Toba ash is so distinct, it acts like a marker buried in time, a line you can date precisely.
And in those layers, the tools didn't stop. The technology before the eruption was the same technology after. No gap, no collapse. No sign of any population clawing its way back from the edge of extinction. So now there are 2 pictures. The genetic evidence says something catastrophic happened to our species around this time. And the dirt itself says, at least in these places, people kept living their lives like nothing happened. Both are true. And that should stop you for a second.
maybe the bottleneck wasn't one single moment caused by Toba. Maybe it was already happening. Climate shifts, competition, population spreading too thin. And Toba landed on top of a species that was already standing on the edge. Maybe different groups in different places had completely different experiences. Some were wiped out. Others, somewhere the ash never reached in force, kept going. And it's their tools we're digging up now. Which means somewhere on this planet, 74,000 years ago, there were people living through what may have been the worst population crash our species has ever survived. And they had no idea. They didn't know they were the bottleneck. They didn't know the survival of an entire species was running through a handful of scattered groups who would never know how close it came to ending. They were just trying to get through winter, trying to find food, trying to keep their kids alive one more season.
And enough of them did. Enough to leave a signature in DNA that 74,000 years later, scientists with no other clues would trace back to this exact moment. Here's what that actually means for you. You are not descended from the strongest humans. You're not descended from the smartest, or the luckiest, or the ones with the best tools. You're descended from the ones who didn't quit during the worst stretch our species has ever faced, without even knowing it was the worst stretch. They weren't trying to save humanity. They were just trying to make it to tomorrow. And that was enough. So next time something in your life feels like it's falling apart, your job, your plans, the version of your life you thought you'd have by now, remember this. The entire human species once ran through a population smaller than a small town, and nobody alive at the time knew it. It didn't feel like the end of the world to them. It felt like a hard year. And a hard year is not the same thing as the end. You're here because somebody, 74,000 years ago, got through a year they didn't know was the hardest one humanity would ever face. You can get through yours too. If this made you see your own life differently, even for a second, hit subscribe, because the next video might be the one that changes how you see everything else.